Every year in life, there are positives and negatives to come along with it. It's rare for me to say a year is 100% bad or 100% good. With that said, 2024 has easily been one of my best years for the channel. Thanks to your help in growing this channel, 6 out of the top 10 videos this year were all from this year, and we have easily surpassed the total view count of last year. I'm hoping to keep this momentum going on for next year, so without further ado, let's get into the list.
Eagle Rising.
The Bannerlord mod scene is starting to come alive with several awesome total conversions to play around with. There are several that I'm hoping to see arrive in the Steam Workshop to take a look at. Eagle Rising takes Mountain Blade Bannerlord into the Antiquity period. Similar to the Medieval period, this is a natural fit for the engine while also providing its own unique flair. The armor featured here is absolutely gorgeous with so many awesome pieces to try out. There's also quite a bit of unique mechanics to find here, so definitely try this mod out once you can.
The Old Realms.
As much as I do enjoy the Eagle Rising mod, the Old Realms is by far my favorite mod currently. The Total Conversion mod takes the Bannerlord engine into Warhammer Fantasy, and the results are nothing short of glorious. When I reviewed the game, there were the Empire, Vampire Counts, and Bretonnian factions to play as. Since then, my favorite faction in the Wood Elves has been introduced and has been such a blast to play with. They even added some elements in the character creator, expanding upon an already interesting feature. If you're a fan of Warhammer and Bannerlord, this mod is a no-brainer.
Ancient Empires, Antiquity, and Total War Attila.
And now we have the third and final mod to appear on this list, and that is Ancient Empires for Total War Attila. This is a returning mod from last year, so I'll keep it brief. The Antiquity period in Attila is a very fun time, combining elements from prior Total War Rome titles with some unique elements as well. Unfortunately, this mod hasn't been updated since 2021, and it still appears to be that way to this day. Still, I definitely recommend this one.
Samurai Warriors 2 Empires.
As I've said in the review, Samurai Warriors 2 Empires is my favorite Empires title. Considering that Dynasty Warriors is the more popular series here in the West compared to Samurai Warriors, I am a bit surprised to see it on the top 10. Similar to many entries of the Empire series, this allows you to choose a clan and try to conquer all of Japan with it. Despite the lack of unique officers compared to future entries in the series, it's still a ton of fun with many characters having their own unique moves and abilities. It is also much more of a challenge compared to newer titles, which is definitely refreshing to see. If you have a co-op buddy and have an Xbox 360 or PS2 lying around, definitely try to track down a copy.
Romance of the Three Kingdoms tier list.
This appeared last year and most of my rankings will remain the same, so we can quickly move on to the next entry here.
Black and White 2.
The Black and White series is one that deserves a whole retrospective. Such an ambitious game from the mind of the polarizing Peter Molyneux that I often still think about from time to time. Since LGR reviewed the first one, I figured I can take it upon myself to cover the sequel since it is a bit different from the original. Despite the fun I had revisiting this one, it does get a bit too repetitive for my liking. I prefer the original for its more experimental flow, even though that one has its own issues as well. Considering how well this review did, I can definitely take a look at the original game and give it my own thoughts on that. Let me know what you think in the comments below.
Romance of the Three Kingdoms 8, the original.
The Romance of the Three Kingdoms 8 remake came out this year to unfortunately mixed reception. Before that, I did a review of the original 8th installment to see if it is worth playing. Overall, I definitely do believe so, as it has some of the best officer play in the series. The dynamic storytelling of the series is a big reason why I enjoy playing these games, and the 8th installment is no exception. Playing as both Cao Cao and Zhang Liao, it was interesting seeing the game play out from their perspectives and seeing where things ended up. I plan to take a look at other games in the series, so definitely be on the lookout for that in 2025.
Total War Pharaoh.
Total War Pharaoh was seen as a disappointment at launch, with very few players even playing it at the time. I played the game during lunch and initially wanted to do a review, however it just did not feel fun at all and I was too bored to even make one. Fast forward this year and the much needed Dynasties update enhanced the game tremendously. Instead of feeling like a small saga game, the game has been expanded upon to include Mesopotamia, Assyria, and many more factions. This whole thing may come as just course correcting, but it was a necessary course correcting to be made. It was basically a title that was dead on arrival. If you're interested in Bronze Age warfare, definitely check this one out.
Divinity Original Sin Enhanced Edition.
If it wasn't for number 1, this would have been my biggest surprise of the year. I've reviewed both Original Sin 1 and 2 this year, and was a bit surprised to see a bigger turnout for the first game compared to the second. As I've said in my review, Original Sin 1 is definitely a flawed experience from beginning to end, but is still incredibly fun throughout. Original Sin 2 is my preferred game, but Original Sin 1 is still worth playing in my opinion. Stuff like certain skills unique to this game, like the trip and the ice wall, are absent in Original Sin 2 for some reason. I also prefer the summoning in the first, as you really had a ton of options to play with compared to the sequel. Overall, I still recommend it, and hopefully, if you have picked it up, you will enjoy this title.
Imperial Glory.
This is easily the biggest surprise of the year, and it's funny to see it here in the number 1 spot. Imperial Glory is a Total War clone that I've been wanting to review for years at this point, but always ran into one issue or another. Most of them were technical, as this is known for crashing at battles for no particular reason. Even with the fixes that are proposed, it is not 100% a guarantee to get them fixed. I've tried the compatibility fix and many others and still had issues. It's a shame too, since the campaign mechanics are pretty fun, as peacefully annexing other nations opens up many possibilities. Also like the concept of the tech tree branching off into different paths throughout the eras, and the well done battle maps. Unfortunately, it has major flaws such as the lack of any morale system, making militia and everyone fight until the last man. It's a shame too, as having a competitor to Total War would have been an overall good thing for gaming as a whole. And now for the future plans of this channel and what to expect for 2025. So for 2025, a lot of what has been established prior will remain. Videos will still come out on Sunday, and I will be taking the month of January off as expected. Since this was the channel's best year, I'll stick with what has been working and continue to focus on older and more obscure titles. There was also quite a bit of suggestions in terms of games to look at for next year, so definitely be on the lookout for that. Also lately, I've been taking on a lot of games provided by developers and publishers for me to take a look at. As stated in all these reviews, my thoughts are still my own, and nobody looks at the reviews outside of myself before they go live. But outside of that, I once again want to thank you all for the support you have given me this year, and for the length of this channel's existence. Let's hope 2025 continues to build on this successful year. Happy Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you believe in, that's up to you. Happy New Year, and this is Powerhouse, signing off.